a beautiful story is coming to my mind from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which very much reveals the essence. Learning how to appreciate the essence of what life is for. Because the human tendency on every level is to take things cheaply. And part of taking things cheaply is when we're giving something very precious, where only deep humility can have access. We become so attached to the external forms which are supposed to make us humble. And we put so much of our life and our energy into doing them well that we become extraordinarily arrogant about how we're doing it. Does that make sense? Ritual. People in the world today, sometimes they're disgusted with religious rituals because oftentimes they're done in such a superstitious way. People don't even know why they're doing it. And oftentimes the rituals, instead of unifying people, divides people. Because your ritual is different than my ritual. And I'm better than you, therefore my religion is better than yours, and my ritual is better than yours. And even if we have the same religion and the same ritual, look at how I am doing it. The ritual is an envelope. The purpose of an envelope is not to be a nice envelope. The purpose of an envelope is a way to send a message. What's within the envelope is all important. The content. And that's where Srila Prabhupada emphasizes. And all the great acharyas emphasize. Our intent is what is all important. The purpose, when we have a humble and grateful heart, then our purpose to serve Krishna and take ourselves out of the center becomes the reality of our life. So it was a summer day, very hot, and Krishna was with his cows. They were roaming through the forests and the pastures of Vrindavan. And they were coming toward the Yamuna River. And Krishna, he spoke to his friends. O Subal, Sridama, Stopa Krishna, Bhadrasena, just see how the trees, they do not refuse anyone. They are always eager to render service. He spoke a beautiful verse that the duty of every living being is, as far as possible, to offer welfare to other living beings through our life, through our wealth, through our intelligence, and through all of our skills. And just see how these trees, when it is summertime, they are standing in the sun and giving us shade. When it starts to pour rain, they will stand in the rain, and if we take shelter of the tree will keep us perfectly dry. The trees are giving beautiful flowers and beautiful fruits for us. They're giving their wood so we could perform yajna to please the Lord and make great progress in our life. They're giving us wood for our furniture, for our homes, and they ask nothing in return. Trees represent selfless service, giving of oneself for the welfare of others. And Krishna emphasized, this is dharma, to live for the welfare of other living beings without selfishness. And according to the commentators of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna was speaking this way because he had something in mind. After passing through the trees, they came to the river Yamuna, and the cows, they drank. It was very cool, crystal clear, sparkling water that tasted like nectar. Now, on the external level, Yamuna is not like that. But actually, if we have the eyes to see, when we look at the Yamuna, even the way we may see what we see, in our hearts, we're actually seeing this is what the Yamuna actually is. The Yamuna is descended from the spiritual world. It's not a river of this world. The cows drank from the river, the boys drank from the river, and very happily they went into a forest of Ashok trees. Now, it was getting late in the day, and Krishna and the cowherd boys had wandered into an area where they usually didn't go. So Yashoda Mai and the other gopis, they actually didn't know where to send prasad for them. The boys were thinking, Krishna and Balaram must be hungry. And this is the nature of love. The boys knew that Krishna's love is such that he's only concerned for us. And our love is such that we're only concerned for him. Krishna must be hungry, so somehow we have to get food for him. So they feigned to be extremely hungry. And, oh Rama, oh Balaram, oh Krishna, they said, your name is Dushta Nibarhana, which means you are the destroyer of all bad things. Well, we are so hungry. Please destroy the hunger in our stomachs, because this is a very bad thing. The hunger in our stomachs, it feels like the venom of a serpent. It's causing us so much distress. Please tell us how we could find some food. They only wanted Krishna to have food, but they knew that the only way Krishna would take it seriously is if he was doing it for them. Krishna told that not far from here, there are some Brahmins who are performing a yajna, a sacrifice, called the Angidas. And it's an auspicious time for them to give some food and charity. So go and ask in the name of Balaram and me for some food from them. So the boys, they hurried to where the yajna was, and oh, what an elaborate yajna it was. There were fires burning and incense, and there was sandalwood, and there was beautiful garlands and flowers, and they had vessels made out of gold and silver and copper and beautiful colored powders, and they were chanting hymns from the Samaveda with great force. And the boys, they offered their prostrated obeisances to the Brahmins, then stood up with folded hands and prayed. They addressed the Brahmins, O lords of the earth. We know that you are very kind and very charitable, and you are doing this very, very important yajna for the welfare of the earth and to attain the heavenly planets. Very close by is Krishna and Balaram, and they're very hungry. Please, give us some food. You have so much food all around here. You've made so much preparations. And at this particular time in your yajna, it's very auspicious to give food and charity. So please give it to us. The Brahmins were so immersed in their ritual, and they considered it so important, and they considered themselves so important because they were the priests who were conducting it. They heard the boys, they saw the boys, and totally ignored them. We have more important things to do. They were just cowherd boys. They're just children, covered with dust and decorated with all kinds of feathers and flowers and leaves. We are Brahmins. We are chanting Vedic hymns. We are doing rituals. They just carried on. And the boys were standing. And they felt very, very broken-hearted for two reasons. Even if the Brahmins were to say no to them, at least they acknowledged that they existed. But they ignored them. It's a painful insult. But mostly, they were there on behalf of Krishna. All these yajnas are ultimately only meant for Krishna's pleasure. So they were very hurt. And they ran back and they expressed to Krishna what happened. And when Krishna saw his distress, he smiled and explained that this is human behavior. People get caught up in what they're doing like this. These Brahmins are so arrogant. They are so obsessed with getting something for themselves through all of their religious activities that they've missed the very purpose of why these activities are given to them. In the Gita, Krishna tells, Vedaishcha sarver aham eva vedyo vedanta krit veda vedeva chaham. Everything in the Vedas, every philosophy, every teaching, every logical explanation, all the rituals, all the yajnas, all the prescribed duties, samsadir haritoshana. They're only there to please Krishna. They're only there to help us to humble ourselves before God. Krishna said, please understand, when you're a beggar, sometimes people give and sometimes people don't give. You shouldn't be attached. Isn't it interesting that Krishna sent his little boys to be beggars and frustrated their attempts? And Krishna, he said, now go to the wives of these Brahmins. They are deeply affectionate to me. They will give you everything they have for my pleasure. So the boys, they went to the homes where the Brahmins' wives were sitting.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on devotionalnectar.com.